Recording. There we go. So, okay, we got a lot to cover.
Benedict and Ashley go together.
Her husband
They
is making,
do in my, yeah.
her
Your
husband
husband is expert.
He's pretty decent and he doesn't do it often. So the fact that he's doing it is, warranting Peggy coming in a day early. So
that's the truth. I was
I
flying
love
in.
ex-Benedict, so we'll have to.
Oh, I do too. I was going in on Saturday, and she told me about the eggs Benedict. I said, "Hold on, let me check and change my flight." So yeah, I'm a foodie at heart. Eggs Benedict, bacon, anything bacon, you name it, I'm there. Okay.
The Bacon Club.
Oh, I love the bacon. My husband, we went on a cruise for our 20th wedding anniversary, and he said he spent $10,000 on bacon. That was it, because all I ate was bacon, bacon, bacon. I am psyched, guys. I am so psyched and pumped. Hi, Sarah.
Good
Sarah,
morning.
which link did you get in on, honey?
What's that?
Which link did you get in on?
Zoom, wakeupzoom.com.
Okay, so they're all working.
Mm-hmm.
They're all working. So just tell me a couple of wins, because we're going to take a deep dive today. And some of the things we're going to talk about, well, you might want to have some tissues with you. Guys, don't jump off the call. But, I have to be my authentic self. And so before I share some what's going on in my life, I want to tell me some wins.
So wait a minute. Men cry too. My husband cries at movies more than I do.
Really?
Yes. He's always teary-eyed. So don't make that statement.
Just
All
about
right.
every time the Cowboys play in the playoffs.
That's a good one.
That was very good. I'm glad that's recorded. I might use that on a soundbite. That's perfect. Men do cry. When do they cry, Guy?
She wants you to repeat.
Whenever the Cowboys play in the playoffs.
They cry. And Ashley Stad
true
watches home.
statement.
And
True
they
statement.
True. Okay, so give me some wins before we do a deep dive on this. Because you guys.
Okay, I've got some awesome wins. I've been doing this fast cap thing since like June 17th. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yep.
It's through EXP. It's pretty fantastic. It makes you make all your phone calls. It just holds you accountable, really. And I've gotten like 4 listing appointments since then. Just, being in charge of my database and contacting people who I haven't talked to for like 3 years. I've got it's just been incredible. So it's rejuvenating for me. Fast cap. It's awesome. Stacy Brake told me about it. It's super cool.
I'm so excited for you, because we're going to talk about that. That's amazing. That's a win. That is definitely a win. And that's taken everything off a hold. That's
way to go, Stacy. Woohoo!
Yep.
Nice.
Where do you find that, Stacy? Where do you find Fast Cap? I want to make sure I share that with some folks.
It is a pilot program that Brian has put together.
Yeah.
And this is the first one. And then they will do it again probably in the fall.
Through the university, Sarah.
Well, it's not really in the university right now because
No,
it
but
is a
I mean,
pilot.
it's organized through Brian at the university.
Yes.
It's a pilot.
Yes.
As he said.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty awesome. It was given, the information is given to me because I'm a mentor, and I could give it out to any of my mentees and anybody else that I thought that might want to partake in the program. So it was pretty awesome. I got about 10 people invited into it, but only Stacy and I think 2 others are actually working the program. So good for you, Stacy.
I think Don Hobbs is doing
Look at
it.
her.
Yeah, Don Hobbs is in
signed
it.
up himself.
Yeah, those of us that have been around for a while, we're supposed to button up and shut up in the class and just listen and learn. But yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Wow. So it sounds like it's almost based off of Bold or some of the other programs.
It's similar from what I understand. I never took Bold, but I believe it's similar. It's similar to the previous one that they had, and I can't remember what they called that one. It runs along the same lines, but this one's a lot more intense.
That's great. That is really, really. I'm so glad you shared it because this Stacy with an I is on fire. Thanks to Stacy with a Y. Ha. I'm just full of this morning. Okay.
And Stacy with an I is my friend.
Yes, she is. Yeah, you
We
guys are good.
gathered that. I think we figured that one out.
Okay, so who's ready to dive in deep to some shit? Okay.
What
I
do
mean,
you
who's
want?
ready to go all in right this moment?
Like what?
Like, I'm going to tell you. So from the retreat that we had this year, we had a guest coach, which quite honestly just blew everybody's mind. And her name is Deanne. And have you ever heard the saying, what is it? The student shows up, the teacher, whatever.
When the student is ready, the
Ready
teacher
to-
shows up.
Here, yeah.
Exactly. So you know me, I'm all about sharing with you. I'm all about being authentic. I'm all about just getting right into it. So I've been coaching for years. I've been that person sitting there going, I'm a coach. I don't need a coach. I'm a coach. I don't need a coach. Making all those excuses. How many of us make excuses all the time? You're good at something, so you don't need to do something else, right? So after going to Level Up for the second year of hosting this retreat, and when I say I go, even though I'm hosting it with the coaches and Ashley, I sit and we sit down and we learn. We try to absorb as much as possible. So Deanne shows up, and I had heard of who she was from being in the NLP. And I said, okay, in order for me to bring it on at the highest level in my coaching and with stuff that's going on, I need to level up. I need to be constantly getting better. So I had a conversation with Deanne. Within 5 minutes, I was in tears. Within 10 minutes, I was like, I will figure out, I will get this money, because money's energy, right, guys? And I'm always talking about, we can't have limited beliefs around money. So this whole thing had to shake me up. And I really wanted to show up as my best self to you, and not only you guys, but the rest of the world. But most importantly, I needed to show up the best for me. So I've been doing this now for over 2 months. My face is broken out in pimples. I have a rash. I cry during the calls. I have to run to the bathroom right after the calls because my body's detoxing. And when people would talk about detoxing in your body and how powerful your mind is, I'm just like you guys, I'm skeptical on some stuff, right? Okay, let's face it. We're not going to raise our hands on who's skeptical about certain things. And we all love to say this works, but do we really take it on the deepest level? So in doing this, we talked the other day about what I have put my life on hold with. And I was struggling on what the topic was going to be, because, this is over 100 topics every single week. And sometimes you go, oh my gosh, am I going to get it right? Or is speaker going to cancel? All the stuff that happens to you in our daily lives happens to us. And Ashley will be on the phone and she's like, what are we going to talk about? And I'll be like, I don't know, but give me 10 minutes. I'll figure something out. So what I'd like you to do for a moment, so I want y'all just first, because I need to do this. I'm going to ask you to do this. I need to slow my butt down right now because I'm so psyched. I want us all to just take in a really deep breath. and take it in again. And when you're taking it in, I want you to pause it right about at your heart line. So start from your feet, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up right about your heart. Pause, breathe in a little more, and then just let it really go. You too, Gary. How are you? Miss you. So I'm going to ask you this question. When I ask you this question, I'd like you to really, if you have a piece of paper and pencil, if you can grab a piece of paper and pencil, just grab it real quickly. Some of you guys are great at doing it in your head. When you're thinking about yourself, because it starts with us, when you're thinking about yourself right now, what's the first thing in your life right now that you have put on hold? And write it down. Is it your health? Is it your weight? Is it your love life? Is it your financial freedom? Your children, family, your friends? Maybe getting a new wardrobe? Maybe it's something as simple as upgrading your phone. But what have you put on hold? Just think about it for a minute. Does anybody want to share?
Vicky, I'm afraid that everybody's gonna cry today.
I'm not.
I put on waterproof mascara.
I can share. I don't mind.
Okay.
I really don't, because I'm just jumping into EXP since October. I've put a lot of things on hold, like let's not take a big trip, let's not do this, let's not do that, because I want to dive in and grow my organization and bring my business back to where it used to be, because it sucked last year. And I'm not upset about it, but
Oh.
like the other day I did something, I'm like, you know what? I love these shoes. We were in Carmel and I was like, why have I been holding off buying these shoes? I'm a shoe person. I have more shoes than anybody could use or wear. And my maiden name is Marcos, so I take the fifth. A lot of people don't know what the heck that means. And I say Imelda
I
Marcos.
do.
Especially if they're selling shoes, I say you need to know. Imelda Marcos owned over 3,000 pairs of shoes, and that was in the 60s. So I'm sure right now that's not a big number. Excuse me, but so I treated myself. And I'm like, well, I haven't done a lot of business this year yet. I shouldn't do that. I'm like, you know what? I have my profit sharing. It's smaller than it used to be, but I should treat myself, because I always said a third goes to me, a third taxes, and a third give back. So I did, and it felt really good. And I decided I should go on a trip that I want to go. So I don't want to take it's so weird, I don't want to take the time. What if the business comes up? Business is always good September, October, November. And I'm like, you know what? You've held off going away for so long. Do it.
So thank you. And can I do an exercise with you?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. So first of all, tell us about the shoes. Sorry.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Just describe the shoes to us. And I
Okay.
want you guys to watch her while she
Okay.
does this.
Okay, so there's a company called Sidewalk. And they make very interesting looking shoes. CYDWOK. They're handmade in Burbank, California. So they're made in California, made in the United States of America, which is wonderful. And they're very, very comfortable shoes. And they're very funky looking. And I've never been the funky looking, but as I got older, I have stepped out of my comfort zone and said, why not?
So
And,
funky, describe funky.
The sole, it comes up at an angle. There's no straight lines in some of them. The texture of the leather is unrefined. But basically angles, very heels. The heels are not traditional. So it makes a statement. You could wear
So what is
plain clothes.
what-
Wear these shoes.
when you say angles, first of all, what color are they?
Oh, there's some animal print. There's some textured leather, which I love texture.
Mhm.
Mostly low heels.
Okay.
So
So when
bought-
you were
I got boots.
about what? I'm sorry,
I bought boots.
okay,
Tall.
let's go with this one pair though. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So when you were looking at those shoes, describe some of the feelings you had.
When I was looking at them,
When you were thinking about buying those shoes.
well, the impetus was that they had a 20% off, which they usually don't have sales. And it
Okay.
ended on July, whatever, the 6th at
So
midnight.
there was 20% off. And what if there wasn't 20% off?
I probably would have postponed the sale, the purchase, because I've been looking at these shoes for over 6 months.
So what was the savings on the shoes? It's okay. We're being vulnerable.
No, I'm laughing because the savings made me buy more. I mean, it's such great
Oh.
psychology, right? I mean, I was looking at 1 or 2 pairs of shoes and I bought 5 because I want to try them on and I can return them. So when you can't try them on locally,
Okay.
you don't know how. So I want to how I like them. So I'm not going to keep.
Follow this with me, and I'm going to jump in because I want to do this with a couple of people.
Yes.
So you felt what?
When I bought them?
Yeah.
I felt very good.
Okay.
I felt like I did something for me.
Okay.
And I was okay with it, and I justified it, and I had
Oh, you justified it.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. I gave myself permission to treat myself.
Okay. So you felt good. Why'd you have to justify it?
Because I'm that kind of person.
So when you say you're that kind of person, what does that mean?
It's not in my budget.
So what does a budget look like for you?
Well, my budget right now is to, my husband's getting into business. He's doing his startup, so the income isn't as confirmed. I don't have the business that I used to have, so that's I have savings, but you have to be. I have one of my kids living with us, unemployed.
Okay.
So it's, you have to manage to your budget.
You have to manage to your budget. Okay. So it sounds like you really didn't though, because you didn't just buy 1 pair, you bought 5 pairs.
Well, to try them on. Yeah.
To try them on. And when you try them on, how are they going to make you feel?
Well, they did have some of them in Carmel. So I did revisit that store and I went,
Okay.
wow, they still have the shoes. So it
Follow
felt
me on this though for a second.
okay.
How does it make you feel when you try on one of those shoes or 5 pairs? Just give me the feelings.
Okay, I don't have them yet, but
The ones you did try on.
okay. It felt cool.
It felt cool. And when you feel cool, what does that mean to you?
I mean, the shoes felt nice.
Mm-hmm. But when
Uh,
you feel cool, Samia, that's a great word.
yeah,
You feel like it, what does that feel like? What does that mean to you to feel cool?
happy.
Okay. And when you're happy, what does that look like?
Smile more.
You smile more. Okay.
I've been invigorated because
Invigorated.
my affirmations that I've been doing every morning, I do right about this time of day every morning, and I say them out loud, and things are happening. Positive things are happening. And so it's been rewarding,
Rewarding.
and you know, things are happening. Keep on calling.
So let's think about this. You wanted to buy those shoes for 6 months, right?
Well, I had not seen them in 6 months. They have not
Yeah.
been on my mind for 6 months.
Okay. But you saw them 6 months ago.
Yep.
And financially, are you in a better shape today than you were 6 months ago to buy those shoes?
Yes.
Okay. So you put the shoes on hold to where you felt that you could buy them, correct?
Yeah, I actually honestly forgot about them till I went back to Carmel,
Okay.
but
They
I-
got reactivated.
it got reactivated, correct. And then
Okay.
I saw the email about the sale. I'm like, wow.
So let's go back to 6 months ago.
Okay.
Tell me about what would have happened if you bought those shoes 6 months ago. Just one pair. I only want you to focus on one pair.
I would have felt great
You would have felt great. Okay.
wearing them.
You would have worn them. Okay. So would you still be okay if you bought those shoes 6 months ago? Okay. Would you have had 6 more months of maybe feeling great or wearing them?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for doing that. Do you see where I'm going with this, guys? Now, the shoes came up as an example
Mhm.
of what she could have done 6 months ago, how they made her feel. But we want to go back to, so that's treating ourselves. That was a big treat.
Mhm.
So who else? And Guy, you don't have to describe your shoes, or neither do you, Gary. Gary, I'm gonna, and I've missed you on the call, Gary. I'm gonna jump in with you on this for a minute because I want to go back to, let's talk about you and your move. You decided to sell your house. You decided to buy another house, and you've decided to buy something in the States. So Gary, when did you and Gina first start thinking about selling your house and downsizing and buying another house?
So good morning first, everybody. And for me, it's not shoes, it's sandals, or bare feet. I'm most comfortable walking barefoot, get connected with the earth. I think for us, the move here was an interim move, but it turned out to be, we're all in real estate, so our job is to know the market. As they say, you can never time it, but I think we timed it, very well, similar to what's going on in the US. And this will be a bit of a journey, so bear with me. So, similar to the US, we're having a pretty substantial market shift here. And so the good news is when we did that, we timed it and we made some really critical decisions around how we were going to improve the house to maximize the dollars, and that worked extremely well. So we went out with a bang and with clear intention to maximize net money coming out to then go and find an interim home, which we're in now. And we were very focused on how we were going to make this house everything our other house was, so we'd have joy while we're here and still be part of a plan. So, this is the bridge in between two destination points, the one we left and the one we're going to, right? So the eventuality is that we're going to build a house. Our goal is to be on the water. So that's all part of what our focus is and our intention daily.
So
I
Gary, I'm gonna jump in because I want to ask you, I'm going to fire some questions at you, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
When did you first start thinking about this?
Very early last year, right? I looked at, I'm like
So
anybody.
hold on. I need you to just follow me for a minute.
Yeah.
Just, okay. So last year you decided to look at this. So
Yeah.
so 2023?
Yes.
Okay. 2023, you'd never thought about doing this before.
Well, not this particular venture, however.
Did you ever think about, when did you start thinking about moving to the United States, to the US?
Oh, that's been on the radar since 2010.
Okay, it's been on the radar since 2010. So that is what, 14 years, guys? Okay, so when you first started thinking about it 14 years ago, what made you start thinking about that? Just really, because this is a
Yeah.
fire thing.
Yeah, what made us think about it is your way of life there. And you guys may not see that. We do, I do, right? We really have an appreciation for
The way of life. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna just keep interrupting you because I want to chunk this down. So
Yeah.
14 years ago, you thought about a way of life. What was it in the way of life? To really quick answer. What was the biggest thing?
quality of
give
life.
you?
I believe that dreams can be realized much easier where you are than where we are.
Okay, so the quality of life. So when you have the quality of life, what does that give you?
Freedom, choice.
Freedom, choice. So in 14 years, have you had freedom?
That's a good question. No.
Okay, so with 14 years, you haven't had freedom. What has that not having freedom done for you? How's that affected you?
Bottom line, it affects happiness.
Happiness. And when you're not happy, what does that do for your life and your family?
Well, it keeps me in particular in a lack space or lack mentality, right? I'm fighting with myself, where I know I can be versus where I am.
Okay, so where you know you can be and where you are going. So in 14 years, so you put this on hold. You had this dream and you put it on hold for 14 years, is basically what you did. So let me ask you, if you had done this 14 years ago, what would your life look like?
Well, it would be, is again a great question. It would be a lot different than it is now. Simply I wouldn't be suffering my way through the winters that we suffer here, or I suffer here because they bother me.
Do they bother you with your health?
No, it's just I was a construction worker, home builder, and working in the winter outside gets really old in the rain. Think about your dog that sits in a backyard chained to a house and it's subject to the rain, the snow, the hot weather. That was what building houses was like, right? So,
Okay. So you suffered through this for an additional 14 years.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Okay,
it's
so
something that's
what have
really
you
important
lost?
to me.
Okay, focus. What have you lost in 14 years? Name 3 things that you think you have really suffered hard from in 14 years.
Time,
Time?
the financial would definitely be in there, and freedom.
Okay, so let's go back to financial. What does that look like for you when you put your financial dreams on hold? Really quick answer, first thing off the top of your head.
Well, you don't have options.
Okay, and what do options give you?
Freedom.
Okay, so freedom keeps coming back up. So what is freedom? Describe freedom to me.
Freedom is if I decide I don't want to work today, I don't have to work, whereas I don't have that choice currently. So it's as simple as that, right? It allows me to do the things that I really would like to do that I can't just prioritize or have the right. I think is the easiest to do.
Have the right. So who's holding you back from permission? Who do you have to get permission from?
No, joking. I'm pointing at Gina.
Yeah, well, okay, but
Gina's,
that's joking, but that's not joking. I figured she was
no,
there.
yeah, she's never a roadblock to anything that we're doing. It's all
Okay.
on me. So ask the question again. See, that's what I get when I screw around.
That's all right. So who do you said being able to do something almost like giving yourself permission. So what held you back? You said finances? You would have had better finances if you had done this?
Well, yeah, I believe so. You know, we're not suffering, but certainly could be in a different position. So,
So what would
um,
that look like? Okay, keep following me. What would that look like right now if you were in a different position, if you had done this 14 years ago?
like I said, if I decided I wanted to get up and go fishing today, I wouldn't have to worry about it if I want to go fishing or shopping, whatever.
And buy
You know,
shoes.
I have the ability. Yeah, exactly. I can go buy a nice pair of sandals because I have all the time and space in the world to go satisfy my own journey. And I think that's the answer.
So how now is it possible? Because you mentioned the word time. Do you feel like you've lost 14 years?
No, I never look at anything that way. I've gained 14 years of experience. So I just
Wow.
have to make a choice as to when I step on
Okay.
the bus and step off
So
the bus.
okay, what does that 14 years of experience look like?
Well, it gives me
I just want
clarity.
you doing this for a reason.
Yeah,
Just
no, I understand. But I need to be able to process the answers. So, you know, 14 years of this journey so far has given me a lot of experience.
experience. What kind of experience?
Well, the ability to know how to do it, right? To be able to migrate to the US, to live there, to be a citizen of the US if I choose to be with my family.
Okay.
We know how to do all of that, and we also know now how to turn that into a business. And that's where
So,
we're headed.
all right. So thank you. Thank you for playing along. I wish there was a prize at the end. I could go deeper and I could go higher. So first of all, we chunked it down. And we went down and I was asking him questions. Was there a loss? Was trying to look at if there was a pain. And then we went up a little bit. Now, Gary is extremely analytical. And did you see how in the beginning, there was a tug there of he wanted to tell more of a story. I wanted to get a real quick answer, more of a story, real quick answer. There's nothing wrong with that. What he did was exactly being Gary. So what I'm asking you guys to do is when you are starting to look at this, what are the first answers that come to us? What are the first things? So he put something on hold that I believe he could have absolutely, he and Gina 100% probably could have done 14 years ago. But yet there was a reason that has held him back. And if he had migrated 14 years ago, and we could go on with this for an hour with answers and questions, what would his life look like if he had done it 14 years ago? I think he would have been a success. I think everything would have worked out okay. But do you see how there was something holding him back? So when you are looking at putting your life on hold, and Gary, again, thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
I've had to take a really huge look at things that I have put on hold. And I've put my health on hold. I started doing Pilates a year and a half ago. I love it. Do you think I could have done Pilates years ago? I'm perfectly honest with you. After having brain surgery and having to take time off, my financial was not up here. When I had all the money, and it would not have been a big deal to take Pilates, I waited till I was in more of a financial struggle to take the Pilates. But I found the money, right? Because money is energy. And it came, it's coming, it's here. Who else wants to share something that perhaps they have put on hold? Your marriage, your faith, what could you do to like release that hold button today? I got a lot of things I need to release, and that's what I've learned with Deanne. Janet, good morning.
Good morning.
From one of my favorite places, Martha's Vineyard. I love it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hot and humid today, but it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
What I put on hold was financial health.
Okay.
And it right after I joined, I came from Sotheby's, did an enormous amount of business there, fell in love with the EXP model 6 years ago and came over. And made a decision that I would rent a storefront in Edgartown, probably the preeminent storefront on the island. I live on an island. And then I had 3 women decide to sue me. 2 of them were with EXP, 1099s. The other one never was with EXP, never worked for me. They all, in the state of Mass, you can sue for minimum wage. And it's harder to prove you're a 1099 than minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been in a battle of my life for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to get out of the lease, which was onerous. And I basically, I mean, Peggy, you know, I've kind of hid. It was like I didn't, you know, if anybody saw outward success, I was terrified I'd be sued again, of which I'm still involved in 2 of these lawsuits. And I've spent over $100,000 trying to get out. And I haven't done anything to deserve being sued, but in Massachusetts, it's easy. We're a state that loves to litigate. And so I really, this year, as my husband said, he says, I think your fog is lifting a little. And I said, yeah, it is. I have a lovely little home office, but it's been really hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever gone through. And I'm 68 and I've gone through a ton of stuff. But I've never had such betrayal in my life. Never.
So, and I'm so sorry that that's happened to you. And I've known about part of this journey, and it's been difficult. And so, can I do an exercise with you?
Of course. That's why I raised my hand.
Thank you. So, what do you need to release? What's the one thing we got to hit that hold button and throw it out? We're going to throw it in the Atlantic Ocean. What do we
Fear.
release? What is it?
Fear.
Fear. Oh God. That's a trigger for
fear of being seen as successful, fear of somebody else in the blue deciding to sue me and having the ability to sue me. And in the state of Mass, you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. It's not the reverse. Okay. So fear.
Fear. So when you think of fear, Janet, what does that trigger in you?
Hide.
Hide. And when you hide, what does that do for you?
I spiral down. I'm an outgoing person, and when I hide, I go into a depression. Okay.
And when you spiral down and go into the depression, what is that like? Describe.
I don't like me. My husband doesn't like me. Thank God I've got dogs because they don't care. But I withdraw. I withdraw because I'm scared and I don't put myself out there, and it's affected my business. I used to sell 20 million a year.
Oh, used to sell 20 million a year. So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Is there anybody on the island selling 20 million?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And are they being sued?
Nope.
Okay. Are they hiding?
Nope.
Okay. Do you think they live in the fear of, you know, I can't do this because, you know, Janet, I've heard this thing about Janet and she was sued and, oh, that can happen to me.
No.
Okay. So when you hide, are you really hiding from that? What are you really hiding from?
Not, I would say I'm hiding from losing everything.
Do you, okay. And that's a scary thing. There's fear with that.
It is I mean, there's other layers to this,
Sure.
but I would say that the basic is I lead a modest life. I live in a beautiful place. We owe very little on our home. We're very blessed. And we're not extravagant people. But I know one more lawsuit could force me to leave the island.
Okay. So when you think about where you were before, how long had you been doing business before you got sued?
6 years.
6 years. Okay. How did you feel when you would take a check to the bank, or you would, get that waterfront listing, Sarah, at 1.6 million and have it sell in less than 24 hours? What's that feeling like, Janet, when you get a house and, man, it goes under deposit?
It's even more than getting the house under deposit. I love my clients.
You love your clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they get happy, I get happy.
Ooh, okay. How many
I love to make them happy.
You love making them happy. How many past clients do you think you've had?
I counted it. I've had about 75.
75 past clients. How many of those past clients do you think are missing you and wondering what you're doing?
Well, of the 75, let me reiterate. I would say 10 of those have been repeats. They buy, they sell,
Beautiful.
they sell.
Okay.
And they come back to me. I would say 20 to 20%.
Okay. And when you're talking to those clients, what is it the most that you get out of it? I know they're repeat clients, but I love talking to certain people about certain things. Do you like, who are your top 3 clients that you would really want to do business with?
Because my background is with a corporate company, and I dealt with CEO, C-suite level people regularly. I reported directly to them. So I have no problem. I love, because they're very analytical and I'm analytical.
Okay.
So I can show them numbers, because that's really the only thing they care about. Then they'll go to, is this something we like?
So you get excited.
numbers.
You get excited when you do numbers and you can have high-minded conversations with analytical people, right?
Right.
Okay. And when you have those conversations and you leave those conversations, what do you usually do after that?
Usually I'm following back up with them about something.
Okay.
And,
So you
that's,
keep going.
yeah, I just keep going, whatever they needed next. For example, one of my clients wants to buy a property that's not on the market. And we've been going through, and then I did a deep dive, like a title search, to find out history of that property so that he could have better negotiating options.
Oh, so are you a good negotiator?
Yes.
And when you negotiate and you get that for your client, how does that make you feel?
I'm elated. I'm so happy for them.
You're so happy for them. Okay. Does that give you energy to do something, to go? Okay. You guys, did you see a total shift in Janet's body language? I watch Janet all the time. I watch all of you. She's smiling right this minute. Janet, you are smiling for like beaming for like 3 or 4 minutes now. So what do we have to release? What story do we have to release to get that Janet that's smiling right now back to her clients so she can do what she does best, negotiate the absolute best deal and help people get what they want?
Yeah, it's getting rid of the fear of,
Yep.
almost the fear of being successful again.
Fear is
Fear.
is a killer.
Okay.
Because
So-
I feel like if I do, this one attorney has represented all three of these women, and I know I have a target on my back. Which
Okay.
is
So, and that, you know, is it, I don't know all the legal thing and everything, but I believe, and trust me again, guys, I've had a lot of tears, a lot of breakdowns, a lot of shit going on with limiting beliefs and stories that I've been carrying around in my head. And when we do either chunking up or what we call chunking down was kind of like bringing that, okay, you know, what would happen? But when we chunked up, you started smiling even more. Like, what would it look like? What's this? What's that? Sometimes that story that really isn't true, and we all know this, it's not going to happen. And if you went with one of your couple of your old clients, your repeat business, how could you really possibly be sued? I mean, I'm saying that I don't know the deep dive. Do you really think these other people, do you really think that they wake up every day and say, boy, that Janet, if she gets a listing or if she becomes successful again, you know, is it because you owe money? I don't know. And you don't have to answer this. But what does that really mean? Are they really looking at you every single day and saying,
one of them is certifiable crazy.
okay, so I don't, all right, that's great.
Yes, I'm fairly certain she looks at me every day. She's a sociopath.
Okay. So I want you to just think about releasing that hold on your business of being successful. Because really, what's that hold? That hold is keeping you in prison.
Yeah.
You know, that my belief that I had to keep, you know, eating and weight on and all this other stuff to protect my body was holding me back from amazing things. What amazing things are you letting this story? Because is it 100% like you get up and you do anything successful, 100%, you're 100% going to be sued, you're going to lose your business, and you're going to have to leave the island? Is that 100% true?
No, but it's more than 20% true.
More than 20, but there's still an 80 of you being successful. And there's an 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
Interesting number that you picked. So I challenge you, you have attorneys on this, right?
Oh God, yes.
Okay.
I'm funding their Mediterranean vacations.
Okay. So what I'm challenging you to do is fund it a little bit more that they can take an excursion on that vacation and spend some time and write out. And Janet, if you want, I can help you with these questions. It won't take very long, but I want you to be able to go to them and say, I'm tired of putting my life on hold because of this. And go through what we just said, 100% true. What will it look like? How can I protect myself? So let's work on that a little bit, because I believe you've got a huge prison that you've put around you, and you've locked yourself up in a beautiful office. But unfortunately, it's holding you back from giving joy to a lot of people who love and trust you and know you. And there's people out there that need an agent like you that's not going to negotiate to the absolute highest level for them. Brad. How are you? And Janet, by the way, thank you so much for being vulnerable on that. And I know because I coach with Brad, I can sometimes put him on the hot seat. So Brad, can we use the example of the office? Moving out of the house? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So Brad and I have done a lot of coaching and I got 5 minutes. So I want to really, Brad had an office in his house that wasn't serving him well because he had children and because he was home all the time, they thought, you know, hey, I can bother him. I can jump in. I can do this. I can do that, you know, because he's really not working because he's at home, right? I'm sure a lot of us have gotten that before in the past. So, bye, Guy. We went through a couple of exercises of where Brad could go and what other resources he could use to get out of the house. And there were a lot of excuses, right, Brad? Like, well, I'm going to have to go clean that space. And you got over there. I don't even know if you're still over there. But Brad, talk about how some of the things that we've worked on you'd put on hold for a while. And if you would release them sooner, like if you'd gotten an office right away and gotten out of the house, do you think things might have been a little bit different?
Yeah, for sure. I found so like when I go over there, yeah, it's pretty interesting how much I can get done in a short period of time. Because like I'm dialed in. So it's
So why'd you put that office on hold? It was there for you. But in all transparency, it was a room in his parents' house that lives near him that he could go and set up an office. He didn't have to pay rent. So it wasn't financial. This is not a financial hold.
yeah, I work in my mom's basement. Sorry, so would it have been better if I had gone earlier?
Yeah. What was holding you? Why did we have that big hold button on? Remember?
Yeah, I think I don't know why. I don't know why, Peggy. I mean, I love my family. I like being here with them. I like spending time with them, and I think if I'm away, then I'm missing out on something here, or I'm not helping, or I guess part of it is like just letting my wife do her job so that I can go do my job. That's a big part of it too.
That was a big part of it. And what did we find out? That staying in your house in disruption was keeping you from financially growing. And then we had to look at, okay, why didn't Brad want to financially grow? And when he wasn't financially growing, was he holding back from having honest conversations with what was going on in his family? So when you put a hold on you, it has so many other repercussions, right, Brad? You got to have some honest, deep conversations. And you've come so far in all of this. But no, you have. So I know I'm doing the Reader's Digest version here, but I wanted to give a real life example of putting a hold on something that was a story. Is your wife doing her job at home with the kids? Are the kids okay?
Oh yeah, everything's yeah. It was all in my head.
It was all in your head. So thank you for letting me just go, Brad. I know what I can talk about with Brad. So that's why I'm asking you guys, when you look at this, and this could be a whole seminar, it could be a whole day, if not more. What are you right now putting on hold in your life that if you made a little adjustment, or if you asked yourself objectively, is that 100% true? That was the question I asked Janet. Is it really 100% true? Is that honestly going to happen? Have I revisited this story recently? Can I find a solution to it? Or am I going to keep telling myself this story? Am I going to wait 14 years? Now, Gary has turned out, I mean, everything is happening great. The value, the money, all of that being able to find some great land in Florida, all of that. However, what could have happened in those 14 years? What could have happened if you had those sexy ass shoes on and somebody was a clothing designer who owned all these properties and they were going to move back to Milan and they noticed your shoes? Could you maybe have had a new relationship with the potential client? Could have that opened up other conversations for you? So it doesn't have to be something big, is what I'm trying to say to you guys. It could be very simple of putting on a new pair of shoes that's going to get attention. Or with Gary, rocking a new pair of men's sandals, flip-flops, whatever. That would have started a conversation. Gary, you got your green box on. Did you want to say something?
Oh, no, I just unmuted a minute ago because I thought you were asking a question, but yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay, so this call's gone a little bit over and it's okay, but I'm going to share a book with you, and I have it somehow or another. The books I read have the F word in it, so I don't know. We all go and fuck ourselves. It's a #1 time bestseller. Hey, if they can have it on the cover and say it in bookstores, I'm going to be able to say it. Sarah, you love this. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this.
That is such a good book.
Oh my God. Rich as fuck. And it's for men or women or anybody. And I've been listening it in the car. I can't get enough of her. I really, really can't get enough of her. I've started making little changes. My cousin Grace is reading this. She's, so I was so happy that you talked about the shoes, because one of the things she talks about is how you create all these stories when money is energy. Go buy the shoes. Go buy them. Maybe you don't need to buy 5 pairs, no judgment here, but at least start out buying one. Janet, go out and get that house. Go out and call your, so what if you have to pay another $1,000? It might make you 200,000. Brad, keep going to that office that you built in your families. Ashley did something so beautiful this year that she found the money and she's going to be a mother in a few months. I mean, you have no idea what's out there, guys. And I'm saying this to you because fuck it, I'm going to the Rolling Stones tonight. And I didn't care how much the tickets were. And the money came, and I'm bringing my godson, and we are going to go have an experience. Okay? And I didn't die from buying those tickets, and I'm not broke from buying those tickets. And believe it or not, my KW profit share, which has sucked the past few months, I bought those tickets and the money showed up. Bye, Ash. You're in the doctor's office. Give me an update later. The money showed up. Mick still works. He's 80 years old. So I'm going to go and I'm going to dance like there are 50 million people watching me tonight, but I don't care. I'm not going to be embarrassed. I'm going to have a great time. It's about the experience. So I want you guys to have an experience this week. I want you to throw that whole button out. Just start with one little thing. You can tell I'm super passionate about this. I am uber passionate about this right now because I've had my life on hold since my husband died 9 years ago. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't change it. Thank you, sir. I can't change it. I don't regret it. It doesn't matter. Got the moves like Jagger, baby, tonight. You better believe it. So go out there, throw out your hold button. Remember that Staples commercial? the easy button. We're gonna replace that whole button with an easy button. Okay, love you guys. Gotta go. I'm the only one crying. See ya. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Peggy.